And as per usual, must go and see. Must go and check. Oh, it's right there, right at the beginning. Why is it on the? Why is my own live stream on my homepage? YouTube's like, here's something you'd be interested in. You narcissist. There we go. All right, cool. Howdy. Don't know if anyone's going to show up. It is super late, but I did say that I was going to do this, so I'm doing this. Just because I want people to have as much opportunity to ask me questions as possible. People have been apparently liking this. People have been liking being able to communicate with me directly. So that's good. I like being able to do things for you guys. I just wish I was a little bit better at being able to edit videos. Not that I don't have the skills. Oh, hello there. The Blockbuster? Oh, the Blockbuster. I wish it was Blockbusters. I really miss Blockbusters. I don't know. When it went out of business, I was like, nah, who cares? But now I'm like, I really miss that feeling of going into a Blockbuster. That was so nice. Thank you. I just come back from a dinner with some friends. Actually, one friend and some new friends now. Some friends of friends. So yeah, that's the thing. Oh, hello. One of the friends is messaging me. I'll respond to that in a second. That was funny. Yeah. So I was just kind of. I didn't wear the tie though. I put the tie on just for you guys. I will say one thing. I've always had a thick neck, so this top button, I've never been able to do the top button. Anytime I've needed to. This has needed to be a little bit more neat. There's like a little like elastic thing or an extension that I normally have, but I don't have it here. It might actually be attached to one of my other shirts, but it just kind of like it helps get these a little bit closer without actually squeezing the neck. I've just always had a fat neck. I have fat everything, but I've always had the fat neck, and so shirt collars are always like really tight on me, so I just have to have it loose. Anyway, hello. You are doing a great job, by the way. Thank you. That's what a long beard is for. Yeah, kind of. Either that or just loosening it, and so if you loosen it a bit, kind of like loosen the tie. Oh, that's the wrong side. Loosen the tie, and you kind of like have it loose, like people get it. It's like, oh, it's casual. It's more casual. But yeah. I've always liked wearing stuff like this. I don't know why. I liked having like long sleeves and it being rolled up. I don't know. It's a good feeling. It fits me a little bit better. I don't know why. I've always liked that. So anytime I get to be a character that wears, this kind of stuff, it's normally a good time. Let's see. I got a question. Fire away. I see people waiting TV. Wait, what? I see people. My dyslexia is getting ahead of me. I see people wait TV monitors. I still don't understand that. And their home studio booth. People wait TV monitors. Set up TV monitors in their booth. What do you use them for, and how do you hook them up? Okay, so I'm assuming that we're talking about monitors in your own studio. So the one that I have, and by the way, it's a good question. I actually encourage it. I think it's a good idea because it's good to. I like when I'm in that studio, I'm working. Everything I do is work in that studio. And so I actually have a little platform that I can put my wireless keyboard and my wireless mouse, and I put it on there, and I got the screen, I got the mixer there, I got a spot for my drink, got headphones, everything that I need is in that studio, including a monitor that has a very long cable that goes into this PC. And so what's on here is mirrored that goes in there. So I can do all the editing and stuff like that. So it's a very quick turnaround. A lot of times I put the script there, and sometimes I have to look at footage and match it up. So it gives you a lot more ability, because technically you can't just hit record and go into your studio and then just have like your iPad in front of you, or have just paper copy. People don't really do paper copy anymore. But you can technically do that. But for a lot of people, especially if you're a voice actor who's doing everything, you're the editor, you're the negotiator, you're the talent, you're the director, you're everything. So you basically want everything in the studio so that you can do everything. And that includes having a monitor that hooks up to your computer that has the recording software and everything in there. So that's normally what it is. My screen, so it used to be attached to a wall mount, but right now, because the space is so big, I have it on a stand. I got from Amazon that actually has a little square section. It's got holes that you can attach a screen to, and that way I could just move it around wherever I need it. It's kind of like just in one place right now, but that's what I have it attached to. I do at some point want to actually have it attached to the wall so that I have like more open space beneath it available to me. But for right now, that's what it's on. So hope that answered the question. Hope that was what the question was. Sorry is a little out of topic. It's fine. But can I play Fallout 4 with Intel? I don't know what that is. Is it a graphics card? Yeah. I mean, technically you can play most games with subpar graphics card. You just kind of have to like bring the settings down. I mean, most games, especially the Fallout series, have a lot of settings to kind of bring down the graphics. So to kind of like speed it up. A website that I highly recommend is caniplayit.com. I believe Can I Run It? I think that's what it is. Can I Run It? Go there, check first. If it says not recommended, then that means that you can still do it. You just probably have to bring some of the settings down, so it'll still run faster. So I'm not a huge graphics card computer guy, so I don't know. I would assume 4 gigs of RAM is enough. That's just me. Any tips for someone on a budget who wants to stream great content, especially during the shortage? The shortage of content? I don't know what you mean by shortage. What do you mean by shortage? Be more specific. I know there's a graphics or a computer chip shortage, but I don't know if that has anything to do with the question. I don't know if that's it. I will say, okay, so I'll give you a great example. So these LED lights that I got, that were sent to me, that I did a little review, not a review video, but I did a little review. It comes with 2 of them. As you can see, it's got a really nice blue light. I have a very inexpensive ring light that was also sent to me. These are, I would say the ring light is probably like $30, and those are probably like collectively $40. And as you can see, that's basically, other than the light in the room, that's essentially it. And this would be totally enough light to do. Still got that in the frame. That'd be totally enough light to do streaming or any kind of content creating and stuff like that. As far as interface and microphone, you're definitely going to want to go with like a USB mic that has like basically everything built in. If you're doing gaming, generally speaking, you want to get the best sound. You're definitely going to want a mixer that has compression on it, but that kind of gets expensive. So for the most part, you're just going to have to deal with not necessarily subpar audio, but not the best audio, and then work your way up. So I would say the Samson CO1U Pro is a good starting microphone. It doesn't have any settings on it, but it's generally about like between $80 and $60 normally. And it's got live monitoring, USB mic plugs right into the system. Sounds pretty good. I would just get like a little foam cover on it and set the gain down, so if you're going to be loud. And then OBS is free. That's kind of it for the most part. The headphones, don't worry about it. Headphones can just be earbuds it's not super important, especially for doing gaming and creating content. But I will say the easiest thing to use is just your phone for most things. Just do vlogging. You'd have to get a little bit more specific with what kind of content, but that's what I'd say. And by the way, thank you for thinking that the stuff is great. Thank you. Okay. How do you set up health insurance as a freelancer? Ooh. Now we're getting to some deep questions. Not having insurance from an employer covers my family. Okay, so if you have a family, that's a completely different story. That's a completely different ballpark. That's a much bigger topic. Man, because if you have a family, if you have kids that and you have a wife, you definitely want good health insurance, or at least be making enough money that you can put money aside so that should anything happen, you have the money to cover whatever is going to happen, or whatever you need to cover. But I would hope that you're not the only breadwinner, and being a freelancer isn't the only thing that brings in income. If you are not making enough money freelancing, that's voice acting and stuff like that, you definitely want to have a day job or have some kind of extra income, whether it's the spouse that is also working. But you're definitely going to want more than just that one gig. As far as like finding the right health insurance, it really kind of depends on. Sometimes it kind of depends on what state you're in. Some states, require that you have certain extra things covered in your health insurance that you don't need, and therefore your premiums go up. Again, it's a really, really tricky question. I think kind of you got to do a lot of searching. Don't just settle with like the first insurance that you find. You want to keep searching and make sure that you have additional income. That's the best advice I can give. Let's see what else. Have been one of my biggest obstacles to going full time. Oh, okay. I thought I blanked for a second. I was like, having a family is the biggest obstacle. You don't want to say that, but he didn't, so we're fine. That if you have a family, health insurance is a big deal. If you're independent, as in you don't have dependents, it's not as big a deal. You can kind of get away with a lot more. You can be like, oh, if I die, I die. But with your family, you have to take care of them. So I hope that helps. I saw your DeviantArt page. Nice stuff. Do you still draw? I do, but I post a lot more of it on Instagram these days, mostly just because I'm not a narcissist, so I don't take pictures of myself. So posting it on Instagram was better and easier for me. It's also easier to upload stuff that I draw on my iPad, which is mostly how I draw, straight to Instagram, rather than through DeviantArt, because it's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more tricky, and it's just more complicated than it really needs to be. I'm just trying to post it and share it, the stuff that I want to. Yeah, that's it. I think DeviantArt is fine, but I don't care for it anymore. I still draw though. Hey, hello. Hey, we're the monkeys. Let me get rid of this. Get out of the way. I've just started. Practicing. Sorry, I got a little bit of gas. Voice acting, and so far I'm getting great responses. Good. Though I want to know how much of a difference the professional tools would make. Also, how much would it cost? It's not going to matter at all. At all. Not one bit of expensive equipment, not one bit of expensive tools, especially if we're talking like software, like Pro Tools, which is, I mean, basically that's it. There's like one major voiceover software that everyone highly recommends. Unless you own a studio, where you're having to patch in other voice actors or patch in directors, and it needs to be live, and they want to just like link up and all this kind of stuff. Pro Tools is overrated. Audacity is more than enough. In fact, I know tons of people that are, making six figures that still use Audacity. So don't worry about that. Free software, totally fine. The microphone and the interface, again, you do not have to break the bank. I've done tons of videos on stuff that is reasonable, that, sounds good. And I know there's tons of voice actors out there. Mike Delgadio is probably one of the best sources for finding good reviews and samples of audio of microphones that are inexpensive. He's also done some more expensive stuff, but he does have a good list of ones that are good for voiceover and are reasonably priced. What matters most is going to be the acoustic treatment and your skills. The acoustic treatment is like the foam on the wall. That matters way more than the microphone. 100%. Way more than the microphone. The Samson CO1U Pro, the USB mic, when my Sennheiser MKH416, I wasn't able to use it because I didn't have an XLR interface for a while because my old mixer went out, and I wasn't able to use it, so I had to use a USB mic. And I think I'd just done a review on the Samson CO1U Pro, and so I was using that for a while. And none of my clients even knew that I was using a USB mic, mostly because it was in the exact same well-treated space. And as long as it's clean audio, for the most part, it should be fine. Whoops. I don't know if people can still hear me, but everything froze on my end, so I don't know. Check to see if it's still running over here. Okay. Okay, so we're good? That was weird. That was freaky as heck. All of a sudden, my screen just froze. I see for a second, just froze like that. So I'm glad we're still here. Okay, we're good. Okay, we're fine. Don't scare me like that. So I don't remember where I left off. Yes, the treatment is far more important than the microphone. That's probably where you need to spend the most money. Don't worry about the professional software. Go with free software like Audacity. That's pretty much it. And then just get better at the performance. Okay, where did I leave off? Hey guys, I'm on the live again. Okay. Well, hello, Mr. Joy. Is it Joy? Joy? How do I say that? I think it's Joy. I think it's just Joy. But I've never seen it spelled that way with an E. Interesting. CD Baller. Yeah, CD Baller. Hey Joy. My brother boyfriend. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what this conversation is. Sure. Okay. I want to do voice acting, but my boyfriend says I have a feminine voice and can't find work. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that has nothing to do with anything. I don't know what kind of work you're looking for. That has nothing to do with anything. Yeah. Like there's no, the industry isn't looking for one voice. If they were, there would be no industry. Everybody's looking for somebody. Everyone has a voice that will fit with someone's project. Everyone. So I don't know what they're talking about. It's not true. Don't worry about it. Keep trying. I've never really heard that. Like the stereotypical like radio guy voice that from like the 70s and the 60s to 80s or whatever of like the old voiceover, that's gone. That's long gone. Yeah, don't worry about it. Crazy Ninja says sup, and I say sup back. You're good, thank you. How's your day? They didn't respond. Yes sir, lol. I don't know what yes sir was about. How does my TV monitor look? How do you get it set up? Are we talking like on the desktop, or are we talking like the screen itself, like the physical screen? 'Cause I mean, it's just my desktop as far as like the setup, the digital setup. It's just my desktop. There's nothing special about it. As far as like mounting it, every screen, they computer screens normally have like 4 bolt holes in the back, and a mounting bracket or whatever is going to have holes that will line up with those holes, and you just have to. And normally the mounting bracket or mounting setup is going to have the bolts that come with it, and then all you got to do is just screw it in. That's pretty much it. There's not really much else to it. It's not that complicated. Ooh, boop-a-doo. I like your clothes. Thank you. CD Baller, pretty good. Me and my boyfriend just hung out and watching DuckTales. The new one or the old one? That's what I'd like to know. New one or the old one? I heard the new one's pretty good. So your studio booth. I mean, yeah, exactly the same. Yeah, in my booth. That's all it is. There is a tripod mount that's very similar to one of these. Whoa, of course not long enough. Similar to one of these that it just sits on. It's a much heavier, sturdier one, so that way I can actually move it. Like if I need to vacuum in there or clean up, I can literally just unplug everything and just move it. Nothing is attached to the wall, and I can just move it around. So, thank you for believing in me, sir. You're welcome. Old one is the only one that I've seen. I might suggest checking out the new one. I don't really see the point in doing a reboot of a cartoon show, especially one that's still good. I don't really see the point, but some people did. Yeah, that's it. I know some of the animators who've worked on the show, not personally, but like they follow me and I follow them on Twitter. Yeah, and the animation's really, really good, pretty clean. Some of the jokes are funny. I don't know. Maybe it's just something. It's not targeted to me as a demographic, but seems pretty good. Another question, sir. Bring them on. On what conditions do you have to travel for voice acting when hired? Interesting. Or the conditions when you would just send your voiceover online. Well, technically, I think I've only had to go into studio twice, maybe. Everything else is online, especially nowadays. Everything is online. Don't go into voice acting thinking that you're gonna have to go into a studio. That is almost completely gone, especially because of COVID. People are locking down. People are scared. People are, keeping super far apart. Funimation changed, even though Funimation didn't technically have to. They still pretty much didn't have anyone come into studio anymore. They had most of the talent just record from home. So even a dubbing studio where most everything was done via in studio, like almost all of Funimation was done in studio. They pretty much restructured everything for everyone was recording from home. So I'd say, and going forwards, I would imagine that this is going to be the case. Most of my clients are overseas. Singapore, Japan, China, Russia, Australia. Most of the people that I work with are not in the United States. So I rarely ever even see anybody, even via Skype. Most of the time, it's just emailing me the script. I record it. If they need revisions, they ask for revisions, and that's it, and they pay me. That's the majority of the work, and that's the majority of the work for most people. I would not imagine that it's too different for anyone else, especially going in doing character work and working with mostly independent studios. If you were to end up doing more SAG work, maybe it would be more in person. And the reason for that is because SAG rates are normally based on time in studio. And so to make sure that they're paying you appropriately, they have you in studio and they basically have you on the clock to kind of make sure that they're the rates are accurate. But that, again, because of COVID, that's not too common. And I mean, people are still going in the studios for like bigger projects for bigger studios, but if you're not the big name actors, you're probably not going to the studio. Just saying. Okay, so hello from Belgium. Hello. I is just me, but the audio sounding choppy. I'm going to see. Sounds fine on my end. Might just be you. I was gonna say it might be me because I did have like a little bit of a glitch on my end, but it doesn't sound like it on my over here. So I don't know. Sorry about that. Wish I could do something about it. All right. Where was I? Hello from England. Hello. How are you? Would you like to hear about my past experience with voice acting? Go for it, especially if it's any questions or any issues that you've been having. Sure. Okay. Well, if CD Baller says go for it, go for it. If clients couldn't tell the difference between your usual XLR mic and the USB mic, then why should I buy an XLR mic and audio interface? USB mic seems so much more affordable. Okay, great question. So for me, I work with I'm at a position where I'm transitioning. I'm never going to give up my independent clients, but I'm kind of transitioning to bigger clients. I'm doing more agent work, more agency stuff. And so I'm kind of transitioning to bigger studios. And one thing that's going to be a little bit more common with larger studio work is they're going to want more raw audio. And they're going to want nothing done to it. Now, if you're working with independent clients, they basically it's generally expected that you're going to do something to the audio, at least clean it up, because most independent clients, especially if it's independent game makers or animators or cartoonists for YouTube, don't actually know what to do with audio. So they kind of need you to do something to it. Larger studios, they generally don't want you to do anything. So even though, yes, I was able to deliver some good audio with a USB mic to some clients, that was mostly because I knew how to mix it and kind of clean it up on my end before even handing it off to them to kind of make sure that it was more or less on the same level. On my end, I like having a mixer. I prefer working with a mixer and an XLR mic. And the reason for that is the mixer allows me to have more control over the audio, including the ability to give it more headroom so it doesn't peak and so it doesn't clip the audio. And if there's a little bit of rumbling outside, I can kind of turn the low end down a little bit, kind of help cut through that. It gives me control before it even reaches the digital side. And for me, let's say a client comes to me and they want to do a live session, which again is happening more and more common. And they want me to be able to record, and they would just want to take it from their end. Well, they don't want me to actually record on my end. They're going to be recording on their end. It's just going to go through straight to them. Well, I still want to make sure that the audio is good. And having a mixer, an interface mixer, and an XLR mic gives me more levels of control, gives me more ability to do more things. Also, let's say the XLR mic goes out. The interface is still good. All I have to do is replace the XLR mic. But let's say the interface goes out. The microphone's still good. I just replace the interface. And due to the fact that I have tons of backups for both, and you should always have backups, even if they're small and relatively, even less expensive. You should always have backups. But I always have backups, and this allows me to, if one goes out, if there's a problem with one, I can switch them out. Also, sometimes there are some mics that are better for me to record on in certain situations than others. There was another time before I even set up this space and I set up my booth when I first moved to this apartment, I had to actually record in that closet right there. And I actually put one of those boxes, one of those little containers, shelf containers, flipped it over, put some foam on the inside, and actually used a handheld dynamic mic, the ISK ICDM, to actually do some recording because it didn't pick up any of the room, and it was still clean audio. I had to do a lot to it, but I was able to do that. But I still used my interface, still use the same interface, and so because I had XLR, it gave me options. I have a full toolbox of microphones that I can switch out for different situations. It just gives you more control and more options. And if you know how to use those, it kind of guarantees that you're not going to be boxing yourself into one corner and kind of limiting yourself. If you have a USB mic, even though when you first start out, I encourage having a USB mic, because until you're comfortable with the performing, until you have the setup, until you know how to properly mix and master, all that kind of stuff, there's no point in bogging yourself down with these extra features. Last reason is I also am working more with other people. Every now and then I actually have people coming into my studio. We actually record stuff. And this would give me the ability to, again, use a different microphone on a different person for whatever reason. Let's say one microphone sounds better for them than it would for me. Or there's a microphone that would be better for different times of the day. Like if it's busier outside and there's more traffic noise, there's some microphones that would pick up far less noise. So it just gives me options. That's why you'd want to do that. So going with an XLR and an interface that has features is a future step, is generally speaking almost always a future step. But you always want to keep your USB mic, your really good USB mic, always in the background, because that probably is going to be your backup should anything happen to those. Long-winded, but it's a really good question, and I wanted to make sure that it was well answered. How is England? Too bad your national team isn't at our level. I don't want to be a part of whatever that is about. If that's a sports thing, if people are throwing shade at people, I want no part in it. Your audio is a bit rough and crunchy. I mean, I checked on this end and it sounds fine. So I'm assuming that it's not getting translated to everyone totally fine. And I can't really do anything about that because my internet is at the max. There's nothing else running. It's just this. I really wish I could do something about that. I really wish. And I'm live monitoring myself, so I know it's not going into the microphone. Maybe one of these days I'll figure it out. So in Belgium, we speak 2 languages. Okay. Okay. Did not know that. Cool. I was like, is there a voiceover question in there? Looking sharp. Thank you. Fancy clothes there, Tim. Thank you. This is kind of like what I was wearing when I was hanging out with friends. So even I did put on the tie for you guys, but the shirt and the vest was already. And this vest doesn't actually technically go with it because it's kind of like a hoodie. It's just because I didn't know if it was going to rain today, so I wanted the option to cover myself should I need to. So I don't know. Let's get to some more voiceover questions. There've been some really good ones thus far. Let's see. It was more elaborating on some of the things we've already talked about. Also, everybody who's tuning in, leave down in the comment section how well the audio is coming in for you. I want to make sure it's not everybody. So please do that when you can. That'd be great. I'm hoping that it's not. Because, I mean, if it is a regular thing and it sounds really, really crunchy, then I'll have to do something about it, but I don't know what I can do. Yes, sir. Audio is a little crunchy. On a scale of 1 to 10, how crunchy is it? Get some problems when the buffer size is too small. Huh. Increasing the buffer size. Are you saying that's something for me to do? Because I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. This is going straight through YouTube, so I don't think I have any control over that. Yeah, I set it all to low latency, not high performance, so I don't know. I got nothing. 5 out of 10. 6. It's good for you. Cool. Oh, it is for me as well. Okay, as in it is crunchy. Huh. 6. Everybody's in. Okay, everyone's about like halfway. Interesting. Huh. I'll listen back to it afterwards, so I can do anything about that. Because I don't think there's anything I can do on my end. I don't know if I should end it and start it over again. I kind of don't want to do that. Oh, the crunchiness is about. I thought it was like the audio quality was a 1. I was like, oh my god, sounds like it's a 10 can for you. I'm so sorry. Audio is a bit crunchy, but it's been clear in previous streams. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I thought it was totally fine. Huh. The audio interface is not there's no latency thing on the audio interface. There's absolutely nothing going on there. It's the same interface as every other time. If anything, it's definitely Google. If anything, there's no settings I can change here. Yeah, I got nothing. Turn this off, maybe. Turn these off. Yeah. I don't know what would be causing it. That is weird. The only thing I can think of is just turning it off and turning it back on. Shit happens and it ain't that serious. Yeah. That crunch is bad. Okay, all right. You know what? All right. I'm gonna turn it off. We're gonna start over again. This is stupid. The stream isn't ruined at all. No need to end it that early. Okay, I don't know what Google is doing to you guys. I got nothing. And the audio on my end is really, really low on the interface. So it's not happening on my end. I don't know what to do. What's up? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Because the audio was fine on my phone. So I don't know. Oh. Yeah, I mean, if this is a question about voiceover and answering questions, I don't want it to be like ear bleeding. That defeats the purpose. Completely defeats the purpose. How long have we been going? 40 minutes. I normally do an hour, so 20 minutes of this should be fine. Just I'm gonna end it and we're gonna start over again. So everyone tune in and look for the next stream. What am I using for streaming? Google. I'm using YouTube. So it's not going through like another program. It's going straight into YouTube. It's not like it's going through OBS and then going to YouTube, or Action and then going to YouTube. It's just going straight to YouTube. So, dude, I got no features on this end. I got nothing. But that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna end this. We're gonna start over again. If there's still issues, then it's definitely not me. But all right. But I'm gonna be going live again in a little bit. So look out for it.